In a sleepy village down the lane and past the old stone wall, there lived a boy named Finn. Finn had sandy blonde hair, a gap in his front teeth, and a best friend who happened to be a frog. Every night after supper, Finn would sit by the pond at the bottom of his garden and talk to Ribble about bugs and clouds and what the moon might taste like. But tonight, something new fell from the sky. It wasn't a star. Stars fall in straight lines and disappear. This light wobbled. It zigzagged down through the dark, flickering green and silver and landed with a soft pop in the meadow just beyond the garden wall. Finn looked at Ribble. Ribble looked at Finn. "Well," said Ribble, in his deep, rumbly voice, "that was definitely not a bug." Finn grinned. He climbed the wall and Ribble hopped onto his shoulder. Together they ran into the meadow. In the middle of the meadow, surrounded by a ring of flattened grass, sat a very small creature. It was no bigger than a kitten, with soft, round, pale green skin that glowed faintly from the inside. It had two enormous dark eyes like pools of ink, tiny hands with 3 fingers, and it was sniffling. "It's crying," Finn whispered. Ribble tilted his head. "It's a long way from home, I think." Finn sat down cross-legged in front of the creature and spoke very softly. "Hi, I'm Finn. Are you okay?" The creature looked up. Its huge dark eyes blinked once, and then it spoke in a voice like tiny bells. "Zim," it said, pointing to itself. Then it pointed up at the sky. "Home, Zim lost." Finn's heart squeezed. He knew what it felt like to be lost. "We'll help you," he said. "Won't we, Ribble?" "Obviously," said Ribble. Zim reached into its tiny silver garment and pulled out something small and round, a little compass that glowed with a soft, shifting light. It wasn't like any compass Finn had seen. Instead of pointing north, the light inside it drifted upward, toward the sky. "It's pointing home," Ribble said quietly, "but home is up." Finn thought for a moment. "If home is up, then we need to get as close to the sky as we can." He picked Zim up very gently. The little creature weighed almost nothing, like holding a warm balloon. He set off toward Lantern Hill, the tallest hill in the valley. Ribble hopped alongside, steady and sure. At the top of Lantern Hill, the wind was gentle and the sky was so wide it felt like you could fall into it. Zim's compass glowed brighter up here, its light shifting from green to blue to gold. The little creature looked up at the stars and made a sound, not quite a word, not quite a song, something in between. And far, far above, a tiny light blinked back. "They heard!" Finn laughed. Zim bounced in his arms, its glow pulsing happily. Even Ribble smiled, which, if you've never seen a frog smile, is one of the best things in the world. The light in the sky grew bigger, closer, until Finn could see it clearly, a small, soft, glowing shape drifting down like a soap bubble made of starlight. The glowing bubble landed softly on the hilltop. Inside, Finn could see shapes, small, green, and glowing, just like Zim, its family. Zim looked up at Finn with those enormous dark eyes and touched one tiny hand to Finn's cheek. It was warm. "Finn," Zim said softly. "Friend?" Then it turned to Ribble and placed a tiny hand on his head. Ribble closed his eyes and said nothing, which meant everything. Zim stepped into the bubble. The glow brightened. And then, slowly, gently, the bubble lifted off the ground. It rose like a dream, spinning softly, trailing tiny sparks of green and gold, higher and higher, smaller and smaller, until it was just another light among the stars, but brighter, just a little brighter. Finn and Ribble walked home through the quiet meadow. Neither of them said much. Some things are too big for words. When they reached the pond, Ribble hopped onto his lily pad and looked up at the sky. "Same time tomorrow?" he asked. Finn smiled. "Same time tomorrow." Finn climbed into bed and looked out at the stars. He found the one that was a little brighter than the rest and whispered, "Goodnight, Zim?" And maybe it was the wind, or maybe it was something else, but just for a moment, the star pulsed green. Finn smiled, closed his eyes, and dreamed of friendly things from far, far away, all through the long, warm night.